Hope you're doing well today. Today we've got a next lecture from the series, and today's topic is actually, it's as you can see, opposite side castling. Right? This is like the topic from the middle game, and you need to know that it's especially in the sharp players, right? In the players who prefer more tactical way of playing. This is something that happens quite often, right? It happens quite often, especially after first move e4. It happens quite often in the Sicilian, and this is why it's pretty important to know how to play in such a position, right? And today I'm just gonna explain you. Okay, at the beginning I'm gonna explain you a couple basic principles that you should know when you are playing in such a positions. And later I'm going to show you a couple examples, of course with the explanation. So just let me double check that everything is working, and okay, I think I can start. Okay, so first of all, when there are kings, okay, I will even show you like a random position. If let's imagine position like this, right? The most important thing that you should remember, okay, for example, it's like this. The most important thing you have to remember about such a positions is that pieces are not important. So the most important thing that you have to remember about that this kind of positions is that you have to attack opponent's king, and because kings are on the opposite side, you can use also your pawns, right? Because if you can, for example, white can attack it this way somehow, white can make a pawn storm, and black also can make a pawn storm later and open that's white's king, right? Because this is the big difference, because usually when kings are at the same side and you want to attack opponent's king, you cannot use your pawns usually, or it's very risky because you open at the same time your own king. But if kings are at the different side, you can use your pawns. And the very important thing is, why do you want to use your pawns? Is because you want to open the position. There is a principle when you're attacking, open the position. So here is actually you want to use your pawns and open the position. So you see, for example, you can even sacrifice a pawn, and now you can see that king is more exposed. You also need to know that it's very important to open, position, open files. So later, and this is very important thing, later your pieces can also enter. This is a very important thing. It's not enough to make a pawn storm, because you are not going to checkmate your opponent only with your pawns, but you also later need some pieces that can enter, right? So for example, rooks or rook can enter here, or knight can come to b5, and those pieces are going to checkmate that king. So use your pawns to open the position, open files, diagonals, and so on, and later bring your pieces. You will also see that on those examples that I prepared today. Next thing is, and this is also, in my opinion, this is the thing that a lot of players, I don't know, maybe they don't care or about this, or they forget. The thing is that when your opponent is attacking, your plan is of course attack. White's plan is attack on that king, but also the plan is to delay opponent's attack. So when you, for example, see that opponent is making, let's say he's trying to make a pawn storm like this, sometimes that might be a good idea to play, for example, h4 like this, because you really want to delay opponent's attack. This is also very important. This is just an example, right, that you can delay opponent's attack, but you cannot be focused only on your attack. You also have to think about your defense, right, and delay opponent's attack. Attack be as quick as you can with your attack, and all in all, faster wins. So hope you'll be faster in your games. So today we are going to discuss some games. Let's maybe discuss the first game. The first game is like it's a game between Karyakin and Anand. I think that I will try to show you how they. Yes, this is why. This is the reason why black plays h5 in the dragon. This is actually a very good point, because there is, okay, before we start Anand Carlsen, I will just show you one thing, that in the dragon variation, Okay, we've got a Sicilian variation. We've got a dragon here. Okay, you know, here this is the main line of the dragon line. Okay, knight goes there. You know, white, for example, plays bishop c4. Okay, here castling. You can see opposite side castles, right? Rook c8. Bishop has to retreat. Yeah, I don't want to talk about, you know, I don't want to talk about lines, but now white starts attack here. And there are two ways of playing here for black. One way is knight c4. So black is trying to continue attack. And okay, this is a pretty, you know, this is pretty decent line, and white plays h5 and attack continues, right? But very good line, and as I know, even more popular for black is to play h5. Because h5 delays white's attack. And later black wants to, of course, continue attack on the queen side, but that h5 move really delays that white's attack. And believe me, it's not so easy to attack with white in such a position. Anyway, okay, let's go back into the game. Let's take a look. This is Karyakin against Anand. The game was played in, I think, 2006. So it's been like 15 years from this time. Okay, let's just take a look. Okay, we are going to watch it from the Anand side. Okay, e4 c5. So we also have got a Sicilian here. Knight f3 d6. Okay, d4 takes. Okay, you can see that this is the main Sicilian line. And now black goes a6. You know, you need to know that opposite side castles happens very often in the Sicilian, right? So there are a lot of plans for white to castle queen side. So yeah, okay. And a6, of course, this is not a dragon. This is neither variation. Okay, bishop e3, e5. You know, there is, you know, e6, e5. Two moves are common, but here black picked e5. Knight b3, bishop goes to e6. Okay, black wants to. This is you need to know that this is the main line, and you know, bishop wants to control that square, right? Okay, f3, bishop e7, queen goes to d2. Okay, castle, and castle this way. Okay, you see, you need to remember that every attack, you cannot attack. You see, it's a little bit too early to attack at this position by playing, I don't know, b5 right now. I mean, it wouldn't be that bad, but it's better to complete your development, right? Because you will need your pieces. It's not enough to open opponent's king. You later will need your pieces to enter. So okay, so he's still developing, right? He wants to develop another piece into the game. Okay, white plays g4. You can see it is called English attack. You can see that white wanted to make a castle here, and white's idea is to make a pawn storm with those pawns, and somehow like g5, h5, g6, and then open black's king, and later enter, of course. Black is going to do something with those two pawns, probably somehow they can push them forward. But you also need to know that black will try to, I mean, at least in some lines, black is trying to use that open half open c file. Okay. Anyway, black plays b5, right? You can see logical move. Okay, g5. Okay, and now in this position you need to know that I mean, Anand actually played knight e8. Sometimes, as I know, in that position knight h5 is the move, because the idea of the knight h5 is to block that pawn, right? Because knight is blocking that pawn. But you need to know that knight at h5 also is, like, you know, far from being perfect, because sometimes there are some possibilities to go like here and here, and that knight may actually become a problem. I'm not even talking that immediately, because that bishop is here, but somehow after, like, you know, after knight d5, when that bishop is gone, or, you know, white can go like here and later put some pressure over that knight. This is the reason, I think, knight h5 is a common move. But this is the reason why black decided to go. Okay, no, sorry, my mistake. I thought that he played here directly, but firstly he decided to go b4. Okay, so you see, this is just, you know, in between move, attacking that thing, right? Of course, if white takes here, black takes there. Okay, white retreats, and black moves knight into the e8. Okay, white plays f4. Okay, white wants to most probably, you know, bring pawn to f5, right? So white is going to attack with all pawns in this position. Of course, you see, if black can take it this way, but probably black wanted to keep the center more closed, right? So white's pieces cannot enter that easily, and black also wanted to be fast, so black played a5. Okay. Now, okay, white also has to attack, right? You can see this is like a very typical position that faster, who can be faster, that side is going to win. Okay, f5. Okay, you can see bishop is in trouble. Okay, so like a logical option would be to go bishop c4. Okay, that's true. C4, bishop c4 would be like a pretty logical move, but he decided to go a4. And take a look, why a4? a4 is a good move because the idea is that if pawn takes there, pawn takes here, and you can open a file here. You can see that that rook on the a file is gonna be a monster. Take a look. Let's even take a look at this variation. So pawn takes here, pawn takes there. Okay, and now take a look. This is a funny thing. If pawn takes there, black takes here, and not possible to stop a1, which is a promotion, and at the same time it's a mate, right? So not possible to stop it. White loses. So this is the reason white is kind of forced to probably take it like this, right? But after this move, okay, black will also take this pawn, and take a look. Open c file, open a file. So I think black cannot complain on this position, because yeah, I think black is doing pretty well here, and that was the idea. But take a look what Karyakin just played, because as you remember, you're supposed to attack, but you're also supposed to defend. And defense here means that he wants to block possibility for black that to open. He doesn't want to open files, especially a file on the queen side. This is the reason he did not capture there, but he moved knight d4. And the idea is that now black cannot capture that knight, so the a file cannot be open. You see, not only, you cannot be only focus on one side. Both sides are important. Right? Okay, so knight goes to d4. Now it should be pretty clear why this move. Okay, because later he will probably take that bishop, right? But he doesn't want to open that a file. Okay, black captured there. Okay, knight takes. And the problem right now is that, the thing is that that bishop is kind of trapped. So white still is going to take that bishop back, right? Because bishop is trapped. So now, if you were black, what would you like to play in this position? Take a second. Well, I will give you like 10 seconds maybe. How black can continue attack? Because I think black cannot do anything right now at the king side. So now the best move for black is, of course, I hope at least some of you figure it out, b3. Right? b3. Black wants to open that side. You see, the problem with a3, I'm just talking in general, even not in this specific position, is that white can go b3. And you cannot, you see, position is kind of blocked. Yes, it is b3. Position is kind of blocked right now, and it's very hard for black to enter with pieces. This is why you always have to avoid such a things, right? So this is the reason why b3, even if you sacrifice a pawn or two, you really want to open the position. Okay, king goes to b1. You know, white could capture here, but I think that would be also risky because you see a file is open. And white even wanted to play, if you remember 2 moves ago, knight d4, to avoid, to keep a file closed. So yeah, okay. So b3, king goes to b1, pawn takes c2. Okay, black has to open the file. The problem with another possibility was taking at a2, but take a look, after this move, there is this possibility, and that king is kind of quite safe. I know how does that sound, but take a look. That pawn, it's like a shield, right? White is using black's pawn as a shield, that black cannot remove. So this is why that king, I would say it's pretty safe. And white can, after something like a3, maybe even like b3 or something like this to keep position close. And I would say that the black's attack is kind of, maybe it's not stopped completely, but definitely it's not so easy to continue with black, and white can concentrate on their own attack on the king side. This is the reason why b takes c2. Okay, knight takes back, and now and now another 10 seconds for you. What would you like to do in this position if you are attacking? I have to say that this is a really nice move that will happen right now, because it shows like it exactly shows that black really wants to open files. Bishop b3. Take a look. Instead of losing, because that bishop is still trapped, so black is going to lose that bishop. Instead of losing that bishop at e6, black prefers to play something like bishop b3 to open a file. Bishop a2 makes some sense, but the problem is that if king takes, the a file is blocked, right? It's still blocked. But if you go bishop b3, and if white somehow takes it, you know, pawn takes, and the a file, rook is working on the a file. Very important. So bishop b3 opens the position in a better way. This is okay. I have to admit that I really like that move. Okay, pawn takes, pawn takes. Okay, knight goes to a3. You see, white has got no pawns there. I mean, white has got no pawns on the a file, so white has to block somehow, you know, a file in a different way. So white is playing knight here. Okay, and now I think like I can to sum up that game so far. You can see that first of all, black has got the initiative, because black's attack was more dangerous, right? You can see that king is kind of quite open, only that pawn left here. White's attack, okay, white has got 2 pawns here, but you can see that black's king is still in the pretty solid castle, right? So it's not a yeah, black's king is not in the danger, right? And I think we both agree that, let's say, the first wave is gone, right? First wave of the attack is gone, so now black has to find a different way how to continue attack. Yeah, okay, just let me, I see one question, that bishop a2, probably you are talking about this position. The question was, yeah, this is actually a good question, right? Why not bishop a2 before king went there? So you see, the problem with this move, I think, was a tactical possibility, knight c6, and that might be a small problem in this position, and yeah, this is, I think, the reason. Okay, let's go back into the position. Takes here. Okay, and now another principle. I think I did not mention that principle at the beginning, but another principle: the side who controls the center, because you know that one side, you know, white is attacking on the one side, black is attacking on the other side with the opposite side castles, right? But you also need to know that the side who controls the center has got like an easier access to the attack, right? It's easier to attack on the side when you also control the center. So you also cannot completely ignore the center. And this is also one of the reasons why black played knight e5. Black, it's not only like black's moving that knight into, this is a nice outpost, by the way, it cannot be removed by, you know, by any other pawn. Black is also controlling a lot of things here, but also black wants to keep a piece in the center. So so attack on the side also is gonna be possible. Okay, h4. Okay, white continues pawn storm. Okay, and now black wants to open a file. Okay, and in this case black plays rook a5. Of course, the idea is pretty I mean, obvious. Black wants to make a battery here, and black wants to attack it here. By the way, at the same time, queen from a8 is attacking there. Okay. White plays queen c3, okay, queen a8. Of course, black follows the plan, bishop goes to g2. Okay, so take a look. And now I bet that black was thinking, would it be a good idea to capture at a3? That was, by the way, the reason why did black play, why did black doubled, you know, major pieces here. And the rook, but you see the problem with rook takes a3 is that pawn can take it, queen takes, okay, and white can play something like this. And the problem is that black sacrifices material, but there are not enough pieces to come and, you know, to hurt white's king, right? Because take a look, there is only pawn and the queen. It's not enough. Those pieces are kind of, you know, away. So this is the reason black actually at this position played knight c7. Black wanted to bring more pieces into the attack. Okay. Even if it looks like a sacrifice, sometimes it's a good idea to sacrifice if you can bring, let's say, more pieces and you can open the king. Rook c8, take a look. Second sacrifice. Okay, white captures here. And to be honest, okay, black's just sacrificed 2 minor pieces just to bring 1 piece more into the attack. That rook on the c file, as you can see, right? And you need to know that it was like, you know, a gambling, right? Black can win this position. I mean, black will checkmate white's king, or in every other case, if there is no checkmate, white is going to win, right? So it was. This is why I'm just saying that it was like a gambling, but black wanted to bring more pieces into the attack. And now again, black wants to open the a file, and black goes there, right? Knight goes to c4. Black wants to remove knight from a3. And now take a look. Of course, this is not a good idea because rook a1 looks like a pretty decent solution with a mate. This is the reason why white cannot do anything. Okay, so what white can do? White cannot do anything in the defense because you see a lot of problems are coming. You know, those pieces are also there. So white was thinking, okay, maybe we can be faster. So g6. Okay, and now take a look. Now take a look. This is important thing. Of course, black can say, okay, let's continue. But black firstly removed that pawn, right? Black removed that pawn, takes, and now knight takes there, right? Okay, pawn takes here, rook takes there, right? I think that if let me go back a couple moves and let's take a look after this move, right? After this move, white takes. If black is doing the same, just without taking that pawn at g6, I think there was a problem that white could capture. You see, this is like quite a similar position. Just the difference is that there are 2 pawns here, and the problem is that there is like a back rank checkmate thing at this position, right? And white, I think, can easily even sacrifice material, you know, here, and even probably, you know, here, something like this, and I don't know, bishop d4, and white is still alive. Actually, white has got a couple pieces here for the queen. Yeah, okay, and white is, I'm not saying that white is absolutely winning, but at least white survived, right? But this is the reason why black decided to take it first and later go there. So you see, takes, g takes f7, and now there is no back rank checkmate. King is not forced to go to the h8, but king can go to the h7. And as you can see, there is no check in this position. I mean, if white promotes queen, there is no check in this position, right? So of course, if white promotes queen, there is of course a very simple checkmate here and here, right? So you can see it was just a small detail, right? It was just a small, of course it didn't happen in the game, but as you can see, it was just a very small detail because black needed that square at h7, right? So you can see you have to be quite accurate, right? When it comes especially to the defense. Okay, but so white cannot promote queen, so white decided, okay, we have to give them a check. So under promotion, knight is here. Okay, of course, rook takes here, queen takes there, and as you can see, this is not a check, right, anymore. Okay, so black goes there, Okay, king here, rook a2. Okay, and now it's enough to find. You see, there is like a battle between queen and the rook, and maybe the pawn against the king. King is completely alone, and you see, it doesn't really matter that white is up like 10 points at this position, right? White is up a rook, two bishops, and but so what if king is completely open, right? King d3, queen b5, okay, king d4, rook a4, okay, and you can see checkmate is coming in this position. Here queen c4, and it's not possible to stop a checkmate, because I think after this move this is coming, and in the next move queen goes to e2, and this is a checkmate, right? So take a look. Black sacrificed a lot of material just to bring more pieces into the action, bring more pieces, especially rooks, right? Rook into the c file. Black was sacrificed two minor pieces to bring more pieces, so black could enter and checkmate black's king, right? And remember that Anand did not forget about the defense. He wasn't focused only on the attack, but he was also thinking and calculating how to defend in the most accurate way. Okay, so that was the first game I wanted to show you. Second game, okay, it's I would say I wanted to say modern game, but you know that game was also like from 2006, so not that not that long time ago. But now I've got the next game. It's like my compatriot, right, Jan Krzysztof Duda, against Magnus, right? So yeah, let's take a look what happened in this game. Okay, so e4, c5. Okay, we've got a Sicilian here. Knight f3, d6, another Sicilian, by the way, and another Najdorf variation. Okay, okay, and Duda actually decided to play bishop e2. Okay, e5. Okay, knight b3, bishop goes to e7. Okay, you need to know that in that position, actually, the most popular move for white is to castle this way. But as you probably know, Duda did not castle kingside, because this is not the topic of our lecture, right? So so Duda castled somehow this way, right? Yeah, it's moreover in the Sicilian, it's an exception if black castles queenside. So yeah, you know that castling wasn't played. Okay, bishop g5, knight c6. Okay, queen d3, knight b4. Okay, queen d2, h6. Okay, they are just you know, just trying to force white to do something here. Bishop takes f6. Probably the idea of bishop takes f6 was because this is like a weak square. So white wanted to remove supporter of this square, right? You know, this square in the Sicilian, it's this famous Boleslavsky hole, right? It's that square is, and black, this is why it's quite risky for black to play e5. You really need to know when. It's of course it's a common move, but you really need to know when to play e5, because on the other hand, if you play it in a wrong way, you will have, you know, weak square, this Boleslavsky hole, and also you will have backwards pawn at the d6. Okay, takes. Okay, knight goes to d5, takes d5, and now white captured with a queen, because if pawn takes, that hole is gone, and also that pawn, this is still a backwards pawn, but it's not on the half open file, so it really doesn't, it's not bad. Okay, queen takes d5, queen goes to c7. Probably the idea for black was to protect this pawn, so bishop e6 is possible in the next move, right? As you can see, and black can develop that bishop. Black can remove queen out of this place. Okay, castle, bishop e7. Okay, king goes to b1, bishop e6. Okay, okay. I should have tell you that bishop e6 wasn't a good move right now, because that pawn is hanging. So black was forced to do something with that pawn first. Okay, so bishop e7, king b1. Okay, bishop goes to e6, queen d3. Okay, castling, and now I think we can say that opening is over. you can see that this is like a position when kings are on the opposite side. And of course, white is going to do something into the king side, black is going to attack into the queen side. This is not a surprise. So white starts to do something, white plays f4, right? It's like that probably the fastest way for white to create some threats, and also white threats to go like this. There is one very important thing in that structure, that in black's position there is something we call it, it is called the hook, right? And you need to know that when you are defending, usually it's better if you keep your pawns like this on the 7th rank. You don't move them, because white pawns has got longer way if white wants to, you know, move it this way. But if one of your pawns is like moved forward, white has got much easier access if white wants to go, for example, this way, right? This is the reason. Okay, in that position there was like a h6 was played, you know, a couple moves ago, but I bet that if that pawn would be at h7 in that position, black's position would be definitely more solid, right? So be very careful how are you moving pawns into, you know, from your king, right? Especially it's very important in the defense. Okay, anyway, he played f4, so Carlsen wanted to delay white's attack, and Carlsen played there, right? Pawn takes there, right? So f5 is no longer possible. Okay, yeah, white plays knight d4. White wants to bring another piece, kind of, right? Knight at b3 is only defending, so maybe in the future knight can go there. It attacks also that thing. Okay, and of course Carlsen did not want to capture the bishop. Carlsen moved back, right? A good thing is that that bishop is here because it's controlling, like it's restricting that knight, especially in the Sicilian. That f5 square is very important, right? So yeah, you can defend that square. Okay, rook f1. So he really wants to take this pawn. White wants to bring another rook. White wants to maybe do something with that pawn, right? Maybe bring somehow, you know, bishop into the attack. Maybe somehow use queen. Maybe knight f5. This is white's plan. But Carlsen probably learned that it's a good idea to control the center. He probably knew that, and he played bishop f6. Take a look. He's moving bishop into the e5 square. By the way, in the Anand's game, it was also e5. Just the difference was that Anand brought knight to e5. In this case, bishop is going there, and that bishop is not only, you know, attacking towards the king, but it's also helping in the defense. It's also watching. You can see this is like a perfect place. That bishop is very hard to remove, and you can see it's very, very, very active here. Okay, white has to retreat. Okay. Okay, so now there is no need to do anything here. Rook goes to c8, and rook wants to move the rook into the half open file. Okay, now I'm not sure, do you see what is the threat? Because you need to know that attack is also about creating threats. So I will give you 5 seconds. And what is the threat? The threat is, of course, bishop takes d4. If queen takes, pawn at c2 is collapses. So you can see that this is a really, yes, exactly, bishop takes knight. This is a real threat. And now white played c3. You know, c3 makes sense because it's blocking the c file, but at the same time you need to know that also it's called the hook, right? So black pawn, if black can somehow move b4, it's gonna be much faster for black to move it to b4. Okay, so black plays, of course, b5. Okay, knight goes back to f3 in this position. Okay, and now black improves position, because it's also very important to improve position of pieces. At the same time, you see there was a threat to capture here and take this bishop, right? So those kind of, you know, little tactics are also very important. Bishop is coming to e6. A lot of pieces is watching there, right? You can see two powerful bishops, rook, that pawn. I think you don't need glasses to see that black has got the big advantage here, right? Okay, knight goes to d4, bishop c4, okay, queen f3, and now of course you can go b4. Okay, you see, of course, black is not afraid that black will lose that pawn at the b4, because it's gonna open the whole side, right? So okay, white is kind of forced to take, I think, because if white does not take, black takes, right? And you know, or even queen a5 might be a problem also with that thing, right? So there are a lot of problems, so white captures here. Okay, so take a look. Now black has got 3 files into the queen side. One file is open, one file is half open, and one file is closed, right? By the way, open file is the file when there are no pawns on the board. Half open file is the file when there are only one side has got pawns there. And closed file is when both sides has got pawns in the position, right? Of course, rook likes to be, for example, on the open or half open files, right? So okay, so now he decided to bring the queen. He creates 2 threats, right? As you can see. Okay, white is defending, so a good idea is to exchange. But okay, rook is coming. Knight goes to c2. Okay, and now I have to say that now white played a very nice move. It's I mean, a risky move. It's a kind of okay. Try to guess what black could do in this position, but this is a really nice way to continue the attack. Rook is moving into the open file, and actually black is not afraid that queen will take it here, because king will escape somewhere, probably to h8, and black's king is quite safe, and that attack is so strong here. Okay, anyway, Duda, you know, I'm not sure if you see that Carlsen is sacrificing a pawn like this. I bet that every player would think twice. Is it worth to capture that pawn at the moment? And actually, white decided to play rook d2, safe move to defend this knight. Okay, so bring even more pieces into the open file and try to. And black wants to enter somehow. Of course, it's not a very good idea right now to move that knight, because if knight goes somewhere, there is rook c1, and I think there is a checkmate, right? This is the way you use the open file. You double your major pieces there, double your rooks, double your queen and your rook, and then you enter into the opponent's position, into the second or first rank. And this very often can be a checkmate. Okay, now queen takes f7, king goes to h8, okay, queen f2. Okay, take a look here. That knight is protected, but you can see white is up like 2 pawns, but white is in a full defense. You can see this is protected, so white is still alive. But take a look, what a beautiful, I think it's a similar thing. It is called Alekhine gun. I mean, I know that Alekhine gun is when 2 rooks are in front and queen is from the back, but you know, it has got a very similar power to the Alekhine gun, right? So this is like the strongest possible thing to attack, right? Also that bishop, take a look, that bishop, it's like, you know, it's like a great piece. Supported at e5. I know that I actually showed you those those arrows, but I really want to show you that this bishop at e5 is a great piece here in this position. It's controlling whole the board, right? Okay, so what you're supposed to do when you're attacking in such a position, you're supposed to open the position. So a5, okay, opponent can capture another pawn. Doesn't matter if only black can open the position. Actually, Erich Privat, actually I'm pretty sure that would be a good solution, because white had got a chance to capture, to exchange that bishop, and that would be a great, actually, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense, but who knew, right, that this bishop will become such a powerful piece. And of course, after b takes a5, I think that there is a problem on the b file, right? There is a kind of a problem on the b file. Maybe even black can go like this, black can probably even go like this, or a file, or maybe even here. I think black has got several good moves in this position, right? But white decided to play a3 because white also wants to keep that position closed, right? White doesn't want to give black a chance to, you know, to open this. Of course, captures, knight captures, okay? Queen takes e4, okay? It's a check, so king has to move, okay? And now it's a question, okay, I will take some water and try to think how can you continue attack with black. Okay, if your idea was rook takes b4, you are of course right, because yes, because black really wants to open this position. Rook takes b4 is a great idea. Okay, white has to take it, and now take a look. Open file C, open file here. Pieces are so active, right? And it really doesn't matter that black is down on the material. Rook a8. Even if there is no direct checkmate, you can see that this is very powerful attack. Okay, king b3. Okay, now remember, attack is about creating threats here, and now there is a pretty powerful threat. Take it here, and later that pawn might be in trouble actually. Okay, king a2, and queen takes b4. I want to show you one thing. I want to show you one important thing in this position. Take a look. Black did not capture directly queen takes b4. Because okay, black can do that, but then, you know, rook is here, queen is here. Also not bad, but it's better if your pieces are coordinated, if they are stick together. So if you go there, check, rook goes to b8. Okay, king has to retreat, right? Because there is queen b4 big problem, and queen takes b4. You can see that in those 3 moves, I mean 2 moves, he changed the position of the rook, right? And that rook is even in the better position. Okay, rook c1. Okay, you see, Duda understood that it doesn't make sense to continue attack. It's not possible to attack on the king side, so he has to defend, right? He has to at least try to defend. But of course, now it's just a matter of time when, you know, and now queen e4. Okay, it's like king cannot go to a2 because there is rook a8. Almost checkmate. Rook is going to c2. Okay, how to continue from now? Because you can see that, okay, white is trying to use rooks, right, somehow as a shield, and now of course black has to open that position even more. That bishop was waiting at e5 to make this, you know, final tactics, right? Of course, rook cannot capture because there is a queen here, right? So you see, and black opens that position even more. You can see that it's almost over. They played like, you know, 3 moves more. Okay, well, another very important thing when it comes to the attack: don't exchange pieces when you're attacking, right? Of course, black cannot even think about, okay, maybe not even about queen f4 also, but about queen f3, because that would be really bad. Because, yeah, so what? Okay, you can. I know you can make a discovered attack. You can go there, but you see, it's you don't want to play rook endgame. You want to checkmate your opponent. So in this position, okay, queen e1, rook d1, bishop d4, and I think in this moment Duda decided to resign, because I think he's forced to go like king c1, and there is bishop e3. Everything is gone. Right? Rook d2 takes. Position is completely lost at the moment. So you see, this is like another example of this how to attack into this opposite side castles, and how important is to open the position. Material is not that important. If only you can open the position, if you can bring your pieces, and if you can create some threats. Okay, so this is second example, and now I'm gonna show you one more example. It's gonna be actual. This is not a very long game. This is the game Fischer against Kovacevic. Maybe some of the players who like French, because we discussed 2 Sicilians so far. But if you like French, maybe you will like it, because this is like example that Fischer was completely, yeah, he lost pretty quickly in this game, right? So let's take a look. Okay, e4, e6. okay, d4, d5, knight c3, bishop b4. So we've got a French defense. Bishop b4 is the famous main variation in the French Vinaver variation. And now at the moment you need to know that the main move it's of course e5, right? And there are all the theory there. Fischer decided to play one of the sidelines. Fischer decided to go here. Okay, bishop takes, pawn takes e4. Okay, it looks like black is up a pawn, but it's not so clear. So white goes queen g4, and you can see that this is a fork. Those two pawns are attacked. Okay, knight goes to f6. Queen takes g7. Of course, black has to move the rook. Okay, queen goes to h6. Okay, and you need to know that in that position there are different approaches, right? Some people are playing like knight d7. Some people are playing rook g6. Some people, as I know, are even playing c5 immediately. But actually, Kovacevic picked knight d7. You see, I don't wanna talk about lines, because this is not the lecture about, you know, opening theory. It's not a lecture about French theory here. So he decided to go knight d7. You need to know that this is like a main move. Okay, here knight e2, b6. Okay, of course, black wants to develop bishop, right? And bishop from b7 is probably only square that bishop can do something here. Okay, bishop g5. Okay, queen goes to e7 at this position. Okay, queen h4, bishop goes to b7. Okay, you can see this is, I think, one of the main lines. Knight g6. And now in that position, you need to know that white's idea is to play knight h5. And that knight, maybe it's not in trouble. I mean, there is a big problem with that pin, right? But this is the reason why black plays usually h6 at the moment. And about h6 move, I think it's not such a great idea for white to take it with the queen. The reason is because there is knight g4, right? This is kind of a funny move, and there is a problem because, of course, after something like this, the bishop is collapsing, and after this move, knight takes h6, that bishop is kind of trapped at the moment, because take a look, it cannot go here, it cannot go here, it cannot go here, it cannot go there, here and here. We only need to analyze what happens if bishop goes to b4, but then there is a5, right? And second possibility is to go bishop h4, but after bishop h4 there is of course rook g4, and then bishop is completely trapped. So this is kind of, you know, a small trick that that every player who plays this line should know. So queen takes h6 is not a good idea. Bishop h6, after bishop h6, that would be actually, I mean, it's definitely better, but after rook g4, black also keeps an initiative. So Fischer decided, okay, I will just retreat with that bishop. Okay, castling. Okay, bishop e2, controlling that square. Okay, knight goes to f8. Okay, trying to improve the worst piece. Castle, knight goes to g6. Okay, or you know what? Let's even stop. I even told you what black is going to do, but I think that, you know, you can see that kings are on the opposite sides. Of course, black is going to attack into the attack into this side using that file, using that diagonal. So you see, black has to now there. I mean, if black wants to use pawns, black needs to use those pawns, right, to the attack. But black has got also a lot of pieces that are that they can use. So they are just bringing more pieces into the action. And black really doesn't care about h6 pawn because he actually captured. But take a look. Now there are two beautiful files for rooks, right? So probably next two moves are pretty obvious for you, because you really have to open the position to have open files. So you put your rooks there. Okay, here, and now another rook is coming. Okay, white was a little bit, white should be afraid, right? Because, you know, white's attack is not very advanced. Also, black's castle here is quite solid. It's not gonna be, it's gonna take some time until that's gonna be broken. Also, after moves like a4, black can easily play something like a5, I mean, I'm just talking about the defense. If black wants to defend, so that might be actually, yeah, black's castle is quite solid, right? Thank you, Erich. Thanks for supporting channel. Okay, so you know what white is going to do? White wants to somehow defend. So this is the reason why white played f3. But the problem with f3 is that it opens that king a little bit. And this is a big problem. And now try to think what would be a great idea for black at the moment. It's not so easy. It's not so obvious, I would say. But black can get a huge activity from this moment. Because white wants to play the idea, I can tell you that this is not a good move, because bishop takes, and you can see that white can exchange, for example, those bishops. White can also, you know, white has gained some space in this area, right? So what black can do in this position? How would you like to continue attack here? And the answer is e3. e3. Take a look. He wants to keep this harmony in the white's position, right? Also black's pieces will come into the G and H files. Okay, bishop takes there, knight f8. Okay, queen has to do something, right? Queen has to go somewhere. There is no good place for the queen, so queen escapes on the other side, right? And black is bringing even more pieces into the attack, knight d5. Now take a look. This is a big problem. A big problem is also, I mean, if bishop retreats, I think there might be a big problem with this move. Knight f4, right? This knight is going to be very strong. So what white can do? Fischer played king f2 at this position, right? You can see king f2. He's trying to hold that position somehow. a6, right? Take a look. a6. What's the idea of a6 at the moment? Of course, it was possible to move to capture with the rook at h2. Also, that would be a very good move, but he decided to remove queen out of this place, right? Because, you know, queen is protecting here, queen also is doing something here, so he just plays a6 to remove that queen. Okay, queen d3, rook h2, okay, rook h1, and now you see black is not afraid of this move. So you see, black is not afraid anymore of queen e8. So a6 was like, you know, a defensive move, right? Queen h4, and black can bring even more pieces into the attack. You can see this is a big problem. This here is a problem. Here is the problem. A lot of problems here. Okay. Rook takes, queen takes, of course. Knight f1, but you can see that this is kind of, you know, a desperation, right? At this position, because it's a okay. Rook takes g2. That cannot be good. Fischer decided to play a couple moves more. Okay, queen h4, but it's just, you know, here. And now black can even bring more pieces into the attack. Remember, this is a good principle. If you're not sure what to do, bring more pieces. Knight from f8 is doing nothing. Now it can go to f4, right? So two knights can go there. So this is the idea. Okay, rook e1, knight f4, of course. Okay, exchange. Okay, and after next move, actually here, rook goes to f2, and now Fischer decided to to resign, because this is kind of a Zugzwang, right? If he moves king, I don't know, kings go somewhere, there is a big threat to capture that bishop, and then he captures that knight, later uses that bishop. The game is completely over. So this is like a slightly different example, maybe because it wasn't, you know, a Sicilian, but it's a slightly different story here. But also I think it was a pretty nice to watch how to beat Fischer with the opposite side castles, right? So I hope that you will remember some of the principles that we were talking about. I also want to show you. You see, I will send you the link on the chat. If you visit my blog, you can also read. I wrote an article yesterday. It's about. I mean, I kind of mentioned there those important principles, so you can read it. And you have got also 5 puzzles, 3 puzzles how to attack with the opposite side castle, and 2 puzzles how to defend. So you can try and you can practice those. You can practice that a little bit. So I think that would be pretty good thing for you to just visit and try to solve those problems. There is also one thing more I wanted to tell you just in the end, that I still want to encourage you to sign up for my newsletter and get a free ebook, how to create the best plan. I also sent the link on the chat. You can also see the link on my screen. You will get a free ebook. It's like 7 or 8 pages with a clear recipe how to create a good plan. So yeah, don't hesitate to to sign up for this. I also, one last thing, in the next week I will have probably 3 streams, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's gonna be from 12 p.m. Central Europe time to 2. So it's gonna last probably like 2 hours, so around 2 hours, so slightly more. And of course, next week I'm also gonna prepare the next topic. Yeah, hope you like this lecture. Okay, thank you for watching. Hope you learned something, and hope to see you next time. Bye.